Are the Senators making a push for third spot in the Atlantic, and are the Wild at risk of falling farther down in the standings due to all the recent game recaps that sees Colorado continue to do well and sees Ottawa narrow the gap between them and the Bolts for third in the Atlantic? We'll get to all of that coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get into this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Think about all of your support. We'd never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. It really does help the channel, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. And hopefully leave a comment down in the comment section below discussing all else discussed in today's video. So in today's video, we've got another interesting game recap video that sees Ottawa get a little bit further in the standings and sees Minnesota take a little bit of a step back, even though they did win over the past couple of days. So we get to all the game action, how they affected the standings. So first, we saw 4 games happen over on Monday, 11 happened yesterday on Tuesday, so we'll get to all those games here. First, we saw the Buffalo Sabres blow a few leads, but recovered and beat the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. As they have ended their 6-game losing streak and improved to 25-32-6. Great stuff there for Buffalo, while Edmonton has lost 7 of 10 and fall to 37-23-4. Still a little bit of a skidding team the Oilers are right now. For the Sabres, Thompson scored twice, and Tuck also scored for Sabres in the win, while Drysdale had 2 assists, and Nurse and Bouchard were 2 goal scorers for Oilers in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Sabres got the lead in the third period, never looked back. Then we saw the Ottawa Senators take on the Detroit Red Wings in what was a massive game with playoff implications on the line. And with about 5 minutes left in the third period, thanks to this goal here from Dylan Cousins from Uncle Square Sports Night, his first as a Senator, the Senators would cut the lead, hold on, and beat the Detroit Red Wings 2-1, as they have a 3-game win and 5-game point streak and improved to 33-25-5, while the Red Wings have lost 6 straight and fall 30-28-6 on the year. It's been a bad stretch here for Detroit. For Ottawa, Cousins, who has first goals in the Ottawa Senators, and Perron were 2 goal scorers, and Ullmark stopped 48 of 49 shots he faced in the win. Beautiful performance there from Ullmark, while Larkin was 1 goal scorer for Rings in the loss. So as a Senators fan, love this. That was a massive win over Detroit. So really good stuff there for Ottawa. Then we saw Colorado Avalanche continue to rack up the wins as they opened the scoring and shut out the Blackhawks 3-0, as they have won 6 straight and improved to 39-24-2. While the Blackhawks had their 5-game point streak end and fall 20-36-9, so a bad game there from Chicago. For the Avalanche, McKinnon had 2 assists, Lekkonen, Kiviranta, and Natchez were 3 goal scorers, and Wedgwood stopped all 20 shots he faced in the shutout and win for Colorado. So very good win there for the Avalanche. So interesting game there, but the Avalanche came with a shutout victory. Then we saw Toronto Maple Leafs jump out to a 3-goal lead. Blew the 3-goal lead, but recovered and were able to take down the Utah Hockey Club in a shootout 4-3, as they have ended their 3-game losing streak and improved to 39-22-3. Big win there for Toronto. While Utah does have a 3-game point streak, they have lost 3 of 4, and they fall 28-25-11, so a bad loss there for Utah. For the Leafs, Yarncroke, Nylander, and Benoit were the 3 regulation goal scorers, and Matthews and Marner were 2 shield goal scorers for the Leafs in the win, while Hayton, Schmalz, and Carcioni were 3 regulation goal scorers. Keller, the lone shield goal scorer for Utah in the shield loss. It was an intriguing game there, but at least going with the victory. Those were the 4 games we saw over on Monday. Next, going over to the 11 we saw yesterday on Tuesday. First, we saw New Jersey Devils open up a 3-goal lead and held on to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3, as they improved to 35-25-6, dropping the Jackets, who have now lost 3 of 4 to 31-25-8. So a little bit of a bump in the road there for Columbus. For the Devils, Brett had 3.8 goal, 2 assists. Luke Hughes had goal and assist. Cody Glass, who seems to be thinking really well in New Jersey, has 2 assists, and he, Schermeyer, and Cotter also scored for Devils in the win, while Olivier scored twice and Marchenko also scored for Blue Jackets in the loss. So that was a massive win there for the Devils, as it creates separation between them and the Blue Jackets. Then we saw the Ottawa Senators blow a few leads, but scored 3 unanswered goals, winning the second half of a back-to-back, and beat the Philadelphia Flyers 5-2, as they've won 4 straight, have a 6-game point streak, and improved to 34-25-5, while the Flyers have lost 5 straight, 6 of 7, and fall 27-31-8. Bad loss there from Philadelphia that really puts a dent in their playoff chances. For Ottawa, Amadio had a goal and 8 assists, Sanderson had 2 assists, and Clevin, Kachuk, Pinto, and Cousins also scored for Senators in the win. While Bowles and Drysdale were 2 goal scorers for the Flyers in the loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but Ottawa comes away on top. Then we saw the Pittsburgh Penguins get out to a 2-goal lead. Both goals scored by Crosby. It was the 31st franchise he scored 2 goals against. So interesting note there. Then the Penguins would blow that 2-goal lead, but they recovered it in overtime thanks to this goal here from Erik Karlsson and Uncle Square Sportsnet. The Penguins would come away with a massive 3-2 overtime victory over Vegas as they improved to 26-31-10, while the Knights, who do have a .56, fall to 38-19-7. So a bad loss there for Vegas. For the Penguins, Crosby scored twice, Raquel had 2 assists, and Karlsson had the O2 winner, also scored for Penguins in the win, while Dorofeev and Hanifin were 2 goal scorers for the Knights in the loss. So it was a bad loss there from Vegas, as they do lose some ground in the Pacific Division. Then we saw Florida Panthers open up a 2-goal lead, but gave up 3 unanswered goals, including a very late one, and lost to the Boston Bruins 3-2, as the Bruins improved to 30-28-8, while the Panthers have their 6-game win streak end, and they fall to 40-22-3. So a bad loss there from Florida. For the Bruins, Pastrnak had goal and an assist, and Laura and Zaka both also scored for Bruins in the win, while Kuliakov and Samoskevich were 2 goal scorers for the Panthers in the loss. So a really good stretch here for Boston after trading away a lot of their players, but the Panthers, that's a bad loss to take as they lose ground in the Atlantic Division. Then we saw the Carolina Hurricanes score 3 consecutive goals and took down the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-1, as they have won 5 straight and improved to 39-22-4, while the Bolts fall 37-23-4 in the year. So a bad loss there from Tampa as they do lose some ground in the Atlantic Division. For the Hurricanes, Jarvis, Martinuk, Roslovic, and Walker were the 4 goal scorers, and Kochetkov stopped 23-24 shots he faced in the win for Carolina, while Goghalves was the 1 goal scorer for Tampa in the loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but Carolina comes away with the victory. Then we saw Winnipeg Jets get out to a lead in the second period, never looked back, and were able to hold on to a 2-1 victory thanks to this goal here from, I think it was Vladislav Nemesnikov. I might be wrong on that, but I think Nemesnikov made it 2-1, and the Jets will wind up holding on for the victory as they have won 3 of 4 and improved to 45-17-4, while the Rangers have lost 4 straight and fall 31-28-6. So a bad loss there for the Rangers. That puts a dent in their playoff chances. For the Jets, Perfetti had 2 assists, Nemesnikov and Valaria were 2 goal scorers, and Hellebuyck stopped 21-22 shots he faced in the win for the Jets, while Zibanejad was 1 goal scorer for the Rangers in the loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but that's a bad loss to take if you're into the New York Rangers right now. Then we saw Minnesota Wild and Colorado Avalanche playing a really big game. The Wild would blow a lead and give up a point to Colorado Avalanche, but they would recover and beat the Avalanche in a shootout 2-1, as they improved to 37-24-4, dropping the Avalanche, who now have a 7-game point streak after their 6-game win streak ends, to 39-24-3. So a big point there from Minnesota Wild to gain on the Colorado Avalanche. For the Wild, Zuccarello was 1 regulation goal scorer, and Zuccarello and Boldy were 2 shoe goal scorers, with Costazzo stopping 27-28 shots he faced in the win for Minnesota, while Kiviranta was 1 regulation goal scorer, and Blackwood stopped 22-23 shots he faced in the loss for the Avalanche. So a really good defensive battle between the Avalanche and the Wild, and the Avalanche do wind up giving up the extra point to Minnesota. Then we saw the Montreal Canadiens jump out to a 3-goal lead and held on to double up the Vancouver Canucks 4-2, as they have won 6 of 8 and improve to 31-27-6 on the year, while the Canucks have lost 4 of 6 and fall to 29-24-11. The Canucks are hurting right now. For the Canadiens, Slavkovsky had 3.8, goal to assist. Slavkovsky's been looking really good over the past couple of games. Suzuki and Caulfield both had goal and an assist. Matheson also scored for Canadiens in the win, while Ronick had goal and an assist, and Elias Pettersson also scored for Canucks in the loss. So it was an intriguing game there, but the Habs come with a 4-2 victory. Then we saw Washington Capitals blow a few leads, but recovered, scored 3 straight, and took down the Anaheim Ducks 7-4, as the Capitals have won 5 straight and improved to 43-14-8, while the Ducks have lost 3 of 4 and fall to 28-29-7. So a bad loss there from Anaheim. For the Capitals, Protas had a hat trick, 3 goals, Dubois who had a goal and 2 assists, and Ovechkin who had 3 assists, all had 3-point nights. Dume and Wilson both had 2 assists, and Strome, Dowd, and Bouvillette, who scores first as member of the Washington Capitals, also scored for the Caps in the win, while Vetrano, Mitnyukov, and Hellison all had a goal and an assist, and Trouba also scored for the Ducks in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Ducks do wind up falling at the hands of the Washington Capitals. Then we saw the LA Kings break a tie in the third and scored 3 unanswered goals to take down the New York Islanders 4-1, as they have a 3-game win and 4-game point streak and improved to 34-29. Kings are climbing back up in the Pacific, while the Islanders have lost 7 of 11 and fall 29, 28, and 7. It's not looking good for the Islanders making the playoffs this year. For the Kings, Gavrikov, Deneau, Doughty, and Byfield were 4 goal scorers, and Kemper stopped 33 of 34 shots he faced in the win for the Kings, while Lee was a lone goal scorer for the Islanders in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Kings come away with a victory. And the last game we saw yesterday was between the Predators and the Sharks, as the Predators blew a 2-goal lead but recovered. And thanks to this goal here from Kiefer Bellows, his first as a Predator, in the third period, the Nashville Predators will come away with a 3-2 victory over the San Jose Sharks, as they have won 4 straight and improved to 25, 32, and 7, while the Sharks have lost 3 straight, 11 of 13, and fall 17, 40, and 9. First team I think it was to 40 regulation losses. Bad stuff there for San Jose. For the Predators, Forsberg had a goal and an assist, and Stamkos and Bellows who scored his first as a Predator, both also scored for Predators in the win, while Connor Graff and Patrick Gillies, who scored his first NHL goal and first goal with the Sharks, were the 2 goal scorers for the Sharks in the loss. So the young guys do get on the board for San Jose. They do wind up tying it, but it's not enough to get them at least 1 point, and the Predators will come away with the victory. So some interesting games from our past couple of days. Just going to break it down and see how it affected the standings as it sits right now. So in the Eastern Conference, 4 teams have hit the 80-point plateau, including 1 team, the Capitals, who've hit the 90-point plateau, and the Capitals have 94 points right now. Then you have 83-point Florida, 82-point Carolina, and 81-point Toronto of the other 80-point teams. Then the Bolts are 3rd in the Atlantic at 78. The Devils are 3rd in the Metro at 76. Then you have 73-point Ottawa in the first wildcard position. Very good stuff there for Ottawa. And then you have the 70-point Blue Jackets still holding down the fort for the second wildcard position. So Ottawa and Columbus remain in the 2 playoff spots. After them, you have the 68-point Montreal Canadiens, 68-point New York Rangers, and 68-point Boston Bruins, who are all only 2 points back of a playoff spot. Canadiens to play same amount of games as the Jackets, Rangers to play 1 more game, Bruins to play 2 more games, so Canadiens are in the best position to overtake the Jackets, but still, those 3 are all 2 points out. The Red Wings are at 66 points, they are 4 points out. The Islanders are at 65 points, they are 5 points out. And the 2 Pennsylvania teams, Philly and Pittsburgh, are both at 62 points, 8 points out of a playoff spot. So definitely, the Pennsylvania teams seem to be falling off right now, but still, it's a really tight race in the Eastern Conference. When you get over to the Western Conference, 4 teams in the West also have 80-plus points, including 1 team, the Jets, who have 90-plus, as they've hit 94 points on the season. Then you have 86-point Dallas, 83-point Vegas, and 81-point Colorado, who have all also hit the 80-point plateau. The 78-point Oilers are currently in the 2nd spot in the Pacific. The 77-point Kings are currently in the 3rd spot in the Pacific. And the 78-point Wild are currently in the 1st wildcard position in the Western Conference. After them, you have the 70-point Calgary Flames, who currently narrowly hold that last playoff spot in the Western Conference. Then you have the 69-point Canucks, who are 1 point out but have played 1 more game than the Flames, so Flames are in a little bit more of a better position, but the Canucks are hot on their heels. The Blues are also at 69 points but have played 2 more games than the Flames, so only 1 point out but still very close in striking distance. The Utah Hockey Club has also played 1 more game than Calgary, but they are only 3 points out at 67, so can't count out Utah yet either. And then Anaheim is currently 7 points out at 63 points. The other teams are 10 plus, so interesting to note there's still a lot more separation in the West than the East, but the Utah Hockey Club, St. Louis, and Vancouver are not making it easy for Calgary to make the playoffs. So definitely some interesting standings from our past couple of days. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think about the games from our past couple of days, and if there are any surprises to you in the standings. But that's the updates on the standings and the game recaps from our past couple of days. That's all I'm going to talk for today. I'm going to like this video. If you're not subscribe down below. Thank you for all of your support. Would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe button down below. Really support the channel, and don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below. I also have a blog to make news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so check that out. Leave a link to that down in the description below, and I can't see you guys all for next video. See you guys soon.